Hello again, and welcome to day number 46. My name is Mary, and the story is titled today is The Ten Commandments. In the third month after the Israelites left Egypt, they came to a great mountain that rose straight up from the plain. This was Mount Sinai. And it was one of a group of mountains called Horeb, where Moses earlier saw the burning bush and heard God's voice. The Israelites made their camp in front of Mount Sinai and stayed there for many days. And God said to Moses, "Let none of the people go up on the mount or come near to touch it. If even one of your cattle or sheep touch the mountain, it must be killed. This is a holy place where God will show his glory." A few days after this, the people heard the sound of many trumpets coming from the top of the mountain. They looked and saw that the mountain was covered with clouds, smoke, and lightning, while thunder rolled and crushed. The mountain shook and trembled as though an earthquake were tearing it to pieces. The people were filled with fear. They came out of their tents, ran away from the foot of the mountain, and stood far off, trembling. Then God spoke with a voice of thunder and said, "I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage." And then God spoke the words of the Ten Commandments, which you have heard many times. All the people who heard these words and saw the mountain smoking and the lightning flashing were frightened. They said to Moses, "Don't let God speak to us anymore. The sound of his voice will kill us. Let God speak to you, Moses, and you can tell us God's words." "Fear not," said Moses. "God has come to speak with you, so you will fear him and do his will." And Moses drew near the mountain where the clouds and darkness and lightning were. Then God called Moses up to the top of the mountain. So Moses went up with his helper, Joshua. Joshua stayed on the side of the mountain, but Moses went right up to the top into the clouds. Moses stayed on the mountain with God for 40 days, talking with God and listening to the words God spoke to him, the laws for the people of Israel to obey. Then God gave Moses 2 flat tables of stone on which God had written with his own hand the 10 Commandments. And that was the word of the Lord. Now we will say the discussion questions. Number 1, why couldn't the people touch the mountain? Number 2, why were the people afraid? Number 3, did God still love his people even though they were afraid? Number 4, what did God give Moses? So have fun figuring out those questions. If you were listening, you'll be able to answer those questions if you have the time. So have a good night, and may God bless you all. Thank you for being with me again. Bye-bye.